Hey guys, I had a few minutes to kill here before the guys show up to film our latest episode, and I thought I'd show you something real quick. Another movie poster. This is a poster I picked up a few months ago, and this is an original THX 1138 one sheet. Like I said, it's an original. It's not a reprint. And this is very rare to find a poster like this, and rarer still to find it in as good condition as this. As you can see, it's got, the fold lines in it, a little bit of yellowing, but overall, it's in pretty good condition, and I was super excited about finding it. Now, this one wasn't cheap. I did pay quite a bit for it. This cost me $225 Canadian. But, it's definitely worth it, because a poster this rare from this age generally sells for a fair amount more than this. And as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, this is quite a significant film. This is George Lucas's first film, his directorial debut. He did this with his friend Francis Ford Coppola, who produced the film, through their production company, American Zoetrope. So it is quite a seminal film. It's quite a significant film, and I was super excited to find it. So what I did once I get it, because obviously it's got the folds and it does require some work, I sent it over to Backing to the Future, which is Dan Miles' poster restoration business. It's a restoration business, and they use a process known as linen backing to bring back the poster to its original condition, or at least as close as they can get to the original condition. They try and restore it, turn back the clock. And as you can see, here it is in the restored condition. It took about two and a half months to get back, but he did an absolutely fantastic job. As you can see, the fold lines are gone. He also cleaned it so the yellowing has basically gone, and he did an absolutely astounding job. And it's linen back, which means it's on a piece of Japanese masa paper that is acid-free, and then it's mounted on a thick piece of linen, which is also acid-free. So in theory, this poster should be around 100 years from now. It's preserved. It should hopefully last forever, or for a long time anyways, longer than me. And I can't say enough. I'm so happy about the way it turned out. So yeah, that's the latest addition to my collection. You saw the Logan's Run last week. That one I'm sending over to Dan next week, and I'll probably get that back in a month and a half. And when I do, I'll show you that as well. So anyways, yeah, that's it. That's all I have to show you. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over there. I'm going to start setting up and wait for the guys. Okay, and of course there's a reason why I like to call him high-end Jose. I mean, compared to me, you're just blowing me away in some of the books you've been buying lately. And next we've got some two really spectacular Silver Age keys you're going to show us. Ain't that right?
Yeah. For my middle segment, I'm showing some mid-price key Silver Age issues. So I'm going to start off with, of course, the Amazing Spider-Man, number 46, which contains the first appearance and origin of the Shocker. Cover dated March 1967, copyright date December 8th, 1966. The Shocker finally made his on-screen debut in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. We both love that movie.
It was very well done, yeah.
Yes. Created by John Romita Sr. and Stan the Man Lee, Herman Schultz was a petty cook who had an engineering talent. He preferred to use that, of course, for criminal gain. He created his famous gauntlets that could produce blasts of air that vibrated at high frequencies to escape from prison. Now, extremely deadly, he also created a protective suit that could absorb the shock his gauntlets produced. Now, these shocks can crumble solid concrete and therefore can heavily damage the human body as well as organs. In the movie, two actors were assigned to the Shocker role. The two actors were Logan Marshall Green and Bokeem Woodbine. Now, spoiler alert here, Logan Marshall Green plays Jackson Bryce, who works for Adrian Toome's budding alien gun running business. Bryce is given a gauntlet to use on a run, but after a somewhat unsuccessful run, Toomes chides him for being so careless. Bryce isn't hearing it, so Toome cuts him loose. After Bryce threatens to expose his operation, Tomb vaporizes him. Though, to be fair, he thought it was only an anti-gravity gun.
Yeah, that was a good scene, though.
That was a good scene.
Yeah.
Now, that paves the way for Woodbine's Herman Schultz to take the gauntlet from that point forward in the movie. Now, along the way, someone jokes that he should have a nickname like the Shocker, but he actually doesn't go for that. So, two villains for the price of one. Shocker's first appearance has been a bit of a hot comic, of course, and since last year, but who knows for how much longer, really.
Yeah.
The Shocker is the second Spidey villain that was co-created by John Romita Sr. to debut in The Amazing Spider-Man. During his run, his next full appearance, of course, is in issue 72, a book I featured. Remember, with that spotlight with the stamp date on the arrival date on the middle?
I remember.
Yeah. Now, this issue also has Peter and Harry Osborn move into an apartment together and become roommates, furthering their relationship. Another step in the development of their growing friendship. Now, let's break it down for this one. It's a mid-grader, I would say. It's something between a 4 and a 5. If I'm being halfway about it, 4 or 5 DG plus, solid,
Yeah.
okay? The latest Over the Street guide, the 47th, has $46 US for a 4.0. So for a 4.5, maybe say an even 50. What's that in Canadian? A baby, about 65 bucks.
65 bucks.
Yeah, the comic book realm at a 4.5 grade, it's about $76.50 US. Again, both these books are from our local there, Retro Rare from Sandy. Shout out, pick up there. He had 75. He gave me a $10 discount, 65 Canadian paid, so about 50 bucks exactly on the mark.
That was very nice of him.
Yeah, it's a one and done though. I don't see the Shocker being used anymore, the movies, but you never know. So let's get to the second book here. The second book here is also a Retro Rare pickup from Sandy. This is Tales of Suspense, issue number 75 from March of 1966.
Very nice.
Yes. Double whammy, double key factor on this one. It's the first appearance of Sharon Carter, and of course also the first appearance of Batroc the Leaper. Now, we all remember Peggy Carter from the first Captain America, the first Avenger movie, right?
She's amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Well, this issue plays an important role for the sequel. Sharon Carter and Batroc the Leaper were introduced in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and this is the issue that marks both their first appearances. Now, Sharon Carter, also known as Agent 13, was first introduced as Peggy Carter's sister and was changed to her niece in later issues. Actress Emily Van Camp, a local lass born in Port Perry, Ontario, was cast as SHIELD Agent 13, who was assigned to guard Steve Rogers without his knowledge. Of course, the second there, Georges St. Pierre, born in St. Isidore, Quebec, a fellow Canuck. Yeah, he's a former mixed martial artist. Apparently, he was a 3-time welterweight ultimate fighting champion, and he was, of course, perfectly cast as Georges Batroc, a mercenary and master of the French form of kickboxing known as savate. Yeah. Hip hip hooray, let's hear it for Canadian content in an American movie.
That's for sure, eh?
Yeah. Now, despite their debuts to the silver screen, this key issue only had a mild surge of demand. Surprising. You can still get the Silver Age key pretty cheap. I don't expect the demand for this comic to ever really hit the stratosphere, but it is nevertheless, of course, a key issue. A double hitter there, double whammy. Copies, of course, above a 9.0 can command $275, $300 US and up. Okay, so interesting side note to this book. This issue also has a one-panel, unidentified, obscured memory image of Peggy Carter, Captain America's love interest from World War II. Would you call that a cameo first appearance? You decide, viewers. I'm not going to get into that debate.
I'm not going to decide. You figure it out for me.
Exactly. And lastly, this issue, of course, also holds the first appearance of Them, which will be the genesis of the criminal organization known as AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, the creators of that Mad Bad MODOK. Cool. Break it down to finally put up a cherry on this Sunday. Comic book realm at a 4.0, 45, at a 4.5, 51, at a 5.0, $57. Again, this book, I think if I remember correctly, I think he gave it to me for 40 bucks Canadian. Yeah, so about exactly paid, except maybe in Canadian funds. So again, I paid right on the money there. Just give a shout out to the people involved with this. Gentleman Gene Colan did the pencils for the cover art. Of course, the double whammy there. The King Kirby himself and Dick the Mick Ayers for the pencils in this book. And of course, script by Stan the Man Lee.
Yeah, and of course, you've just knocked another key off your list. So, your collection of keys, both major keys and minor keys, is becoming mighty impressive there, Jose. Mighty impressive.
Growing and growing.
Okay, fantastic, Jose. Thanks for bringing those ones in.
Hoy, hoy. Okay, and from the beginning of the Bronze Age, here we have, of course, one of Mike's faves, Fantastic Four series. This is from January 1970. A great cover, Kirby the Man there. And we've got the return of the Frightful Four. So we got some Medusa action. Nice cover, Mike.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just throughout the series. So, I mean, I could not resist that, a three-bagger at least, I would say. I mean, this looks like a 7.5 to me.
Yeah, so it's you flirting with VF territory there? You sure you looked it over pretty good?
I looked this one over pretty good, yeah. I may be off half a grade of the other ones, but there's been so much room on these books that I'm okay with being off a grade, even a full grade, really, if that came to the fact that the pricing was so good, like I had mentioned.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. You give always yourself some room, so that's cool, man.
So...
I love the Inhumans. Unfortunately, the bad thing about investing in them, and my latest submission from spring, fall of last year, 2017, I went in heavily. 3 issues from the Fantastic Four. 36, of course, you should know that. That's the first appearance of Medusa and of the Frightful Four.
Yeah.
Also 44, first Gorgon from the Inhumans, and 62, first Blastar. And I paid up for those books, and the series was awful. Well, what are you going to do? And
no.
That's the way you really feel, Jose.
Yeah, well, sometimes you shoot those dice and you end up getting snake eyes. What are you going to do? This is a great book, though. Nice pickup.
First appearance of Agatha Harkness.
Oh, Agatha
Who's a
Harkness.
witch.
Yeah.
She has had about 139 appearances throughout the
From a secondary character point of view, she's a major secondary character, yeah. That's a cool first appearance. So, again, I don't say you could say that's a minor key. It's a key book.
Yeah. Look at the top left corner, the white area. You can see there's very little yellowing.
Oh, yeah. I'm 7.5. I'm happy with 7.5. I mean,
Well, you don't know it's 7.5. You suspect it.
I suspect it to be a 7.5.
The only way to know for sure is to get it graded.
To get it, or how about someone who's a dealer who would?
No, I'd want to see it graded. Otherwise,
really? An advisor wouldn't be able to tell you.
Not until it's graded. He could give you a prediction. Yeah. Wow. But I mean, you're probably close. I would say you're probably close.
You got a pretty good eye, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's about it for this. I mean,
okay,
let's all just stand here quietly and stare at it for 15 minutes. I'm sure the audience would love it.
Okay, let's go to the next book.
Okay.
And we don't call him High-End Jose for no good reason. Wow, Jose. He's brought us today a really, really nice copy of Wonder Woman number 166. Jose, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a fantastic condition book. It's a nice high grade. I'd grade it at least a 9. This is Wonder Woman Volume 1, issue 166 from November of 66. Yeah, it's got an early, I believe, 3rd appearance of Egg Fu, quote-unquote, Eggy, a.k.a. Edgar Fulton Young V. Now, who was he? Yeah, he was a campy and incredibly racist creation. Take a bow, Rob Kniger, that hit every Asian stereotype except bad driving.
Yeah.
This is why I'm calling this segment the Funky Monkey segment. Yeah. Hatched in 1965, Egg Fu wasn't just a giant anthropomorphic egg, which would have been silly enough on its own. He was a racist Chinese stereotype with a face right out of a World War II propaganda poster.
Yeah.
Right down to the squinty eyes, an evil, twirly Fu Manchu mustache, prehensile no less, holding the lasso, and bad English dialogue. He spoke with an Americans with a very solly kind of accent. Mm-hmm. Now, considering he was an expert, sorry for the pun, spy for the commies, there's no way he shouldn't have trained himself to speak without an accent, right?
For sure, yeah.
Now, in his first appearance, for first appearance people, that's Volume 1, Wonder Woman, issue 157, he tried an incredibly contrived scheme to blow up the U.S. Navy fleet. Wonder Woman beats him using an even more incredibly contrived means. Okay, so As if that wasn't bad enough, of course, the character was reheated as Egg Foo the Fifth. What happened to the ones in between? I think we're all better off not knowing. Yeah. Yeah. In this issue, Wonder Woman defeated the Big Egg by doing a flamenco dance and clanging her bracelets until he shattered like Humpty Dumpty. Jeez. Like I said, it was the 60s, man. Everyone's a little psychedelic.
Yeah.
And this story must have been pharmaceutically inspired. Yeah. Egg Foo, of course, has since received several makeovers in comics with all the blatant anti-China stuff wiped away. His face is normal, his speech is normal, and he goes by the new, less insulting name of Chang Zhu, while dismissing his old moniker as an unmentionable name.
That's for sure.
I guess it's a start, but don't expect him to make the movies or suddenly receive Lex Luthor-like exposure in the comics. Too many bad memories. Undercooked Egg, yeah, it's a funky monkey. Great cover though, and the best thing about this book is it's high grade. I mean, if it's not a 9, it's an 8.5, but it's a high grade for me. 47th edition of the Overstreet Price Guide shows 57, 111, and 140, 165 as the 8, 9, and 9.2 grade splits. Okay, yeah, I paid up, but it's a nice funky monkey cover. It's a nice cover, and that's the main appeal of it. Again, it's an early appearance of the character, but I mean, I guess if you're looking for the first appearance, you might pay a little bit more in that grade. So I settled for this earlier appearance.
For sure, for sure. And you know how difficult it is finding books this
Above
early.
an 8
Yeah,
for
above an
12
8.
cent covers, they're just not finding them. And when you do, they're asking a lot of money for them.
They are rare indeed.
They're getting scarcer and scarcer, yeah.
There's also an Eggy character in the Harley Quinn series right now, but I don't think there's any
That's
relation
probably
to
like
this.
a kind of like nod or a riff or kind of
Yes.
homage, probably.
Yes.
Anyways, that is an absolutely fantastic book, Jose.
Ecstatic. I'm ecstatic.
And I'm blown away by how high grade it is. Thanks for bringing it in. Fantastic.
Hoi hoi.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, somebody's been digging the stash of boxes that good old Retro has over at their location there. And look what we dug up here. Wow, this is one of my personal faves, man. Bruce Campbell in Army of Darkness. It does not get more cult classic than this.
That's for sure, Jose. And as I'm sure most of us are aware, Army of Darkness is the third film in the Evil Dead trilogy.
Oh, Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, and of course then Army of Darkness. My personal favorite, if I have to choose one of the three, it's the second one. It's funny, it's violent. Most people consider that sometimes the weaker one in the trilogy, but man, I loved it more in the first one. Don't get me wrong, the first one's great, but I like the second one even better, and that's a personal preference as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, this is great. This is the press kit for it, isn't it?
This is the press kit. So, in case some of you don't know what this is, and maybe there are a lot of that don't. A press kit is what you get when a movie premieres in a country. Like when a movie premieres in a particular city, and the press, like the newspapers and I guess the magazines, go out to see it on the opening night. They are issued one of these. It's a press kit. It gives you information about the film, about the cast, the production. It also comes with some very nice 8x10 glossies, and it is a very rare item indeed. You don't see these around very much, and I love to collect them when I can find them. And again, this is a very underappreciated piece of the collecting market. Not a lot of people collect these, but I do.
Yeah, no, so it's a nice snag, and it can be had for very, very little money sometimes.
Very reasonable price on these press kits, yeah. And as Jose said, I'm digging through the boxes at Retro Rare Collectibles. I like to collect press kits in the science fiction and horror genre, and maybe to a lesser extent the action movie genre as well, when I can get them. And they're really wonderful, unique collector pieces to have. And the nice thing about Army of Darkness is that Bruce Campbell is kind of a regular on the con circuit, so I believe it's just a matter of time before he shows up at the Toronto Comic Con or at the Fan Expo, and I'll get him to sign it. And at that point, I'll take it over to Gordy at Retro Rare Collectibles, and I'll get him to frame it for me.
So we can call it doing the exorcist, man. So you'd have your second signed press kit.
I'll have my second signed press kit. And like I said, I really, really like collecting these things. And I'm telling you, eventually word is going to get out that these are collectible, and they are going to start increasing in value. You don't see these every day.
No, they are relics of the past, and like it's something that was very disposable and underlining heavily on they got thrown away. They
And
just
Jose-
didn't.
yeah.
They didn't. Were not kept.
And you can see it. Even this one has been damaged. It's been damaged, and but it's still in very nice condition. Once I get it framed, the corners won't be showing. And Jose is right; they are a thing of the past. They do not issue these to the press corps anymore. When a movie is premiered, they either give you a disc or they just give you a link to the movie's website online. So these are no longer issued, which is cool.
Yeah, that adds very much to collectability. And of course, the last thing to say about that is it complete? Does it have everything it should, as all the
It is
photos
complete.
and everything?
It's got all the photos.
That's important.
Got all the inserts.
And knowing what to look for, making it should
yeah.
all be there. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, so again, it's not all about comics here. There's all kinds of other things out there to collect besides comics.
Love the movies.
Okay, next up we got Eagle-Eyed Oog with a very, very early Batman cover, number 207. And Mike, that is one of the nicest covers I've seen in a very, very long time.
Oh, ain't it cool, man? Again, this is that dealer. Sorry, I correct myself. He was 3 for $60, which is the same as $20. $20.
Now, was
That's
that
what I meant.
dealer from the Toronto Comic Book Show that was trying to blow out his stock, right?
Just slapping it down on the table, baby. That's it. Because I look at that, $20 Canadian, give it $15 US. I'd give that about a 6.0. Around that. The reason why is it's noted that it has a detached center. So I had to look into that and see what does a detached center mean.
That's a centerfold from the
The
book.
centerfold is detached. That's why it
The-
probably
yeah.
would have been a 7 or higher or a 7.5.
Yeah, the pages
The
come.
page came
Yeah,
loose.
it's still there.
I
It's
looked
just
at it, but there's no tear in the actual paper of the detached page
Yeah.
either. So it's actually quite. It's still complete. It's just
Yeah.
well, it's too bad. But anyway, it's from December '68. Irv Novick. It's got about 10 single appearances throughout the storyline. People are one and dones and stuff like that. But cover appeal, love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. The cover too. Yeah,
Love the
nice.
price. It is a complete book. I did open it up and have to leaf through it. A lot of these books came in like golden age bags and
Yeah.
boards and stuff. Like nothing would fit in my box, so I did actually take these out to
Yeah.
look at them. I just didn't have the time to read them, unfortunately.
Very
Always a
nice.
good thing to do.
Yeah.
Fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and we're going to end off this episode, and wow, what a way to end off this episode.
Yes, from the early Bronze Age. Of course, this is New Gods issue number 7 from March of 1972. My personal favorite cover from the Kirby New Gods run. Fantastic cover. Of course, this New Gods issue 7 has a lot of things going for it in terms of first appearances. First appearance of Tigra, Hegra, Steppenwolf. It has the origin of Orion and of the New Gods collectively. Yes.
Wow.
Now, it was a sleeper not that long ago, but last year it gained steady steam fast. This had to do with the first appearance of Steppenwolf, who was apparently supposed to be in the Batman vs. Superman movie, but ended up in the cutting room floor. However, this issue shouldn't be brought just because of Steppenwolf, the uncle of Darkseid and the military leader of Apocalypse. This issue also has the first appearance of Hegra, Darkseid's mother and sister of Steppenwolf. Furthermore, enter Tigra, who is Darkseid's wife. Now, it would later be revealed that Tigra is Darkseid's second wife. Steppenwolf is revealed in flashback in this issue. He helps Darkseid track down and kill Highfather's wife, Avia, which makes her first appearance and death in this comic book as well. This would start a conflict between New Genesis and Apocalypse, and the origin of the New Gods as a group are revealed for the first time in this issue. This issue also sees the exchange of Darkseid and Highfather's sons to end the war between both worlds. Scott-free, or Mr. Miracle, ended up in the care of Granny Goodness, and Orion the Hunter became the adopted son of Highfather. Granny Goodness would vow to torture Scott-free so intensely that the lad would escape from Apocalypse and break the pact. So, New Gods #7 definitely has potential, and the two other characters besides Steppenwolf do have a great chance of making it into the DC cinematic universe. Yeah, so what this book has, again, is because you're not facing a one and done here. There could be more to do with this book, and currently, from the latest 47th Overstreet, it is the highest priced book on that small run of New Gods. The 47th Overstreet guide has the 8, 9, and 9.2 grade splits on this book at 76, 163, and 250, which are low. This book has been in demand. Now it's cooled somewhat. People who've wanted it have already picked it up. Reasonable prices were paid, but long ago. Now we're getting some overinflated pricing. I'm afraid I paid a little bit too much for this book. I would have loved to have paid $100, but again, sometimes when you're chasing a hot book and you really want it, what do you need to do? Grade-wise, to end it, I think it's about a fine, very fine 7. So currently in the comic book realm, I did okay, but I didn't hit a home run.
Cool, cool. How about you, Mike Jones, this book?
Got a van full of them. You know I have a van full of these. Just right beside the other van with all the other #1s.
I'll take that as a no, and sadly I don't have this book either, Jose, but this is a fantastic acquisition, and yeah, fantastic pickup, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
Hoy hoy and hail to the king.